Thanks for watching the Daily Debate live here on Nile TV International. First of all, a message of congratulations for Egypt as a whole, while we are really celebrating a very important event tonight, celebrating the anniversary of June 30th revolution, a revolution where all Egyptians became united. And today we are renewing achievements of June 30th revolution. Throughout a last period, we had the opportunity of opening a new chapter of the Egyptian economy. There is a project that has been called a gift to the whole world, the gift of Egypt to the whole world, which is the new Suez Canal Access Project. We'll be discussing more about also the economic zone. We have the pleasure tonight, while we are celebrating the gains and the privileges of June 30th revolution, to have with us His Excellency, the Chairman of the General Authority for Economic Zone of the Suez Canal, Dr. Ahmed Darwish. Thank you so much for being with us on Nile TV International, especially while we are celebrating together a very dear occasion to the hearts of all Egyptians, to Egypt as a whole, which is June 30th revolution.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you for hosting me. It's indeed a great pleasure. I extend all my congratulations to the Egyptians, and I second you on the fact that we are starting to harvest some of the fruits of that event.
Definitely, and we all say forward ever Egypt, forward ever to a nation that is determined to succeed. Earlier in the day, the President had addressed the nation on the occasion of June 30th revolution. Very important messages that came in the President's speech earlier. Let's watch together this report highlighting more about the President's speech on this occasion of celebrating June 30th revolution. And we will be back with further discussion with our dear guests, Excellency Dr. Ahmed Darwish, the Chairman of the General Authority for the Economic Zone of the Suez Canal.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi addressed the nation on Thursday, marking the third anniversary of the June 30th revolution. In his televised speech, the President said that in the 30th of June revolution, the Egyptians restored their identity and corrected their path to prove to the whole world that its will cannot be broken. The President said that the Egyptian people showed that they have strong will to achieve their legitimate aspirations for a better life for future generations. El-Sisi said that the revolution represented a number of the values, including the insistence of the Egyptian people to achieve their goals, preserve their dignity. The President asserted that it was the unity of the Egyptian people that enabled them to face the challenges. President El-Sisi said that the 30th of June revolution showed that no party can enforce its will on Egyptian people. He noted that the will of the Egyptian people is the real momentum in pushing the country forward. The President warned that the challenges facing the country are huge, adding that he was keen to deal with all the challenges facing all sectors of society and to achieve the aspirations of the Egyptian people. The President said that the work is going on to achieve the aspirations of the Egyptian people and create a better future. He pointed out to the mega national projects launched over the past 2 years in all fields, in addition to mobilizing all state capabilities to improve the living conditions of the Egyptian people. In his speech, the President hailed all the Egyptian people, the armed forces and police for solidarity shown in face of challenges, including terrorism. He called for the continuation of the march towards reconstruction and development. The President warned of terrorism, which has become a threat to the whole world that requires united international efforts to combat it. The President also hailed all the martyrs who sacrificed their lives while protecting the country and promised to always look after their families. The President concluded that the 30th of June revolution will always remind us that Egypt's real strength lies in the power of its own people.
Well, a very meaningful day and a very meaningful message on behalf of the President to all Egypt, to the Egyptians on that special occasion. Excellency Dr. Darwish, definitely a very meaningful day for Egyptians as a whole. A message you would like to direct on that special occasion?
Well, it's not a very special message. Probably they have heard it before, but I'm just reminding them because it has a meaning related to the June 30th. They always say if there is a will, there is a way.
Right.
We had the will. It was not clear to us what's the way, because actually there wasn't actually sort of a legislative way to achieve what we wanted in June 30th, and nobody could have dreamed that we could do it. So I'm telling them twice, if there is a will, there is a way. It happened on June 30th, and it happened again actually with the expansion of the Suez Canal, because you mentioned that.
Right.
This was also something that shows if there is a will, there is a way, because
right.
Doing it in 1 year, raising this amount of, raising these funds actually in 7 or 8 days, if there is a will, there is a way.
Right.
And yes, we can. We have the will, so we can. And this is the message. We can do things.
Yes.
Egyptians are capable of doing things.
Yeah.
So don't underestimate your capabilities.
Yeah, we're never estimating Egyptians' capabilities and their love for their country, for the sense of belonging, as Your Excellency have mentioned. See the expats, how they have contributed to the project itself. See how the Egyptians, when they found an objective, all of them had this sense of perseverance.
See, so
and this will.
my worry is not when Egyptians are under pressure. Because when it shows in all over history that when Egyptians are under pressure, you will get the best out of them. My worry is that when they don't feel they're under pressure, Egyptians are relaxed. So they don't actually achieve.
So that should be the incentive that would,
so
that
that's
would be
the
quite
problem with the Egyptians,
inspirational.
is that once there is no danger, they are relaxed. So they don't really achieve what they could have achieved, and they are not in the position where they should be.
But the
Egypt
battle
should
for
be
development in itself is a challenge.
Yeah.
And I guess that we have all to be, as Egyptians, up to the challenge. The economic zone, and once you took the post, you are determined that it is going to be a story of success. The sense of perseverance, as Your Excellency has mentioned, where there is a will, there is always a way. Yeah. How is this reflected in the mechanism according to which the work is being carried out in the zone?
Okay. Let me tell you that we are really working under lots of challenges. And this is what I like about the job. I mean, when I take a job, I love the job to be challenging. I don't like to take those, easygoing jobs. There is the external challenge, which economically, 2016 is not the best year to start such a project, because, the international economy is not at its best. I don't want to give wrong numbers, but I mean, even China is probably doing like 40% less than their normal development growth rates. International trade is not growing. It's growing very little, 0.3, 0.7%. And even those pessimistic people are saying by the end of the year, international trade maybe is going to shrink. Would that deter us from doing what we would like to do? The answer is no. In fact, no. I would say, okay, that's a good year to start, to prepare myself, to make sure that I have the best infrastructure so that when the economy starts picking, I'm among those who are ready.
Right.
But that means also that I'm under another challenge, which is actually how to finance these projects, because we are an independent zone, sort of self-autonomous zone. We don't really actually belong to the cabinet in the regular sense, because the board of directors of the zone is the cabinet of the zone, according to the law. They have all the power that is given.
And isn't it making the whole story much more challenging of being an independent zone?
It is, but so I was talking about financing. We are asset rich, but we are cash poor in the zone. We have 461 square kilometers of land, which is a huge piece of land. It's like 2/3 of Singapore. Jabal Ali, if I recall well, is 47 square kilometers, which is like 10 times Jabal Ali. So we did not start the project for a long time, but when we were starting, we have high aspiration. We have 6 ports. A zone that has a port is considered a rich zone because a port is a major asset. It's your actually gateway to the world and international trade. We have 6 ports. So we're very asset rich. But that does not mean that we have all the cash we would love to have in order. So we have to be very innovative in terms of how we are going to raise funds to do our projects.
Yes.
We also have engineering challenges.
Yeah.
It's something that nobody would occur to. I mean, the tunnels that we're digging under the Suez Canal southern of Port Said, these tunnels are actually being constructed under extremely different soil and land conditions from the Ahmad Hamdi tunnel that's in Suez. The land in Suez is a little bit solid rock land. Over there, the land is mushy. It's clay. So actually, when you are drilling the tunnel, you have actually to put those rings of concrete while you are digging. We have we have actually a factory that does those ring concrete things on site. We have 9 different contractors working on the berth for the terminals for our port. So we have also, so you see there are challenges from every direction, but this does not make us accept more determined that we write the story of the Suez Canal zone.
Yeah, definitely we will write the story with the sense of perseverance of Egyptian men who are patriotic as you are and who are determined to achieve something. Tell me more about the institutional structure of the body as a whole.
I just mentioned that in order to create this conducive environment for investment, the decision was, yes, Egypt is taking good steps toward trying to make investment much easier and more appealing. But they said, okay, why don't we take this piece of land, this zone, and start with a white sheet of paper. So they decided on Article 13 of the law that created the zone to say that the board of directors have all the power vested in Egyptian laws that are given to ministers, governors, chairmen of authorities, and the rest. So we could start all our work cycles from scratch. So this is how we started, actually. We started looking into the laws. We started putting our own regulatory framework and work cycles and so on, so that we become really a conducive environment for investment. So the institutional and the regulatory framework is being built and is being done right now. We have succeeded in achieving few things, among them actually in order to establish and register a company in zone, it takes you 24 hours, which is, something that we've been looking for some time in
definitely, we
Egypt.
need to provide people with incentives. Yeah.
We have a good incentive package, but we're also working on the regulatory framework regarding actually the contracts that are being written for use of fract of land. The contracts actually that will be written for licensing. We'll be providing lots of licensing. We have broken, lots of the bureaucracy in terms of building permits. We give building permits in 3 days through outsourcing some of our things. When it comes to incentives, we are dealing with incentives in a different way. It's not like one size fits all. I cannot tell you, if Tagreed is coming to me tomorrow to do her project, this is the package. I would like to know what sector you are working in, how many employment opportunities you are creating, what percentage, what role you are playing in export and in local economy and so on. And this is the kind of flexibility that the board has. Because, sometimes I see someone who's coming with a project that is going to attract lots of feeding industry to that project. This project to me is very lucrative and I would like to make sure that I gain it. So it's kind of a discussion. If I see one of those big heavy industry projects that I would like, these people, we help them actually get their finance and we help them with the financing institutions and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Excellency, talking about knowing more concerning what do we have on the table is very important because seeing is believing. So, and this takes us to a very important issue, which is, as you've said, that we are eliminating bureaucracy and the challenges, and we're trying to alleviate any sort of challenges before investors. So how will the zone be quite different or inspirational, let me use this word, in a sense of people would come while they are really interested to put money and they know that on the long run everything is planned, everything is being studied according to a scientific field.
You said it all. I have this little story that I can share with you on TV. Sheikh Saleh Kamel, before the visit of King Salman, he called upon me and he visited me and he said, we could see the political relationship between Saudi Arabia and Egypt, and as Saudi investors, we should be actually reading this scene,
right,
and we should act accordingly. So, with your permission, I would like during the press conference between the king and the president that we announce that we are going to establish a company in the zone to do visibility studies and attract investment and so on. And I said, look, Sheikh Saleh Kamel, I came into public life in 2004 when I was first appointed the minister. It was in July. I gathered all the ministry employees in September, 2 months later, and I said, look, nobody is allowed to go and talk to the press and media and say, we will. You must go out and say, we have done the following.
Right.
The Egyptian public had enough promises that they cannot keep track of these promises, and they lost actually this kind of trust between
building bridges.
Yeah. So, with your permission, if you want that we go together during this press conference, I would like to say that we have established a company in the zone. He said, but it's only a week. It was actually 10 days. It's only a week away. I said, Sheikh Saleh Kamel, why don't you try us? Get your lawyer tomorrow to go to the zone and apply for the company and then give me a call. 3 days later, he gives me a call and says, Ahmed, I cannot believe that. The paperwork was done before actually the bank transfer was done. So this is, I'm just underlying a very important term in your question you have said, which is seeing is believing. I have a conflict of interest to talk about the zone because I have a passion. I'm the chairman of the zone. Definitely. I love the zone. Yeah. So I don't want you to take my word on it. I want you to visit us and try us and see if we're really registering companies from 1 to 3 days, if we're really giving you a building permit in 3 days. How many days will it take you after the board decision to award you a piece of land that some engineer will go with the GPS device and give you a piece of land? So these are behind us. These are not the things I'm trying to capitalize on, because there are like 200 to 300 different economic zones all over the world. And they all claim that we are friendly to do, easy to do business, we are friendly and so on. So these are like taken as given. But we have lots of other things and advantages that we can give to those who are investing. We have this, what you call the strategic location. We have the fact that we are not a single zone. We are like 4 different zones. We have Eastern Port Said, we have Sokhna, we have West Kantara, we have East Ismailia. We have different flavors, we have different tastes.
Different character.
Exactly. So regardless of what is the industry or what is the sector you're working in, you are guaranteed to find the right piece of land with the right services. You need a container port, we have a container port. You need a solid bulk, we have a solid bulk. You need a liquid bulk terminal, we have a liquid bulk terminal. You need heavy industry, I have land that is ready for heavy. You need light industry, I have land that is done for that. So this is giving us a great advantage, and this is what I'm trying to go around the world and tell people. Talk to me about your future expansions. Give me my fair chance. If you are looking at 2 locations, give me my fair chance to be your 3rd location. And let's start filling the 3rd column, which is the Suez Canal zone. And I'm willing to go over the checklist with you. Compare me regarding, my infrastructure. Compare me regarding the quality locations, the quality. Compare me regarding the human resources. Compare me. And I'm sure that I have all the ingredients that will make me win in many cases. And I think we have some good, what you call, some good indicators to what's going to happen.
Yeah. What are the good indicators, Excellency?
I can tell you, in Sokhna, the Chinese had, before I was a chairman, they had a 1.23 kilometers, over 1 million square meters. They decided actually to expand by another 6. So they're going, so they got a piece of land which is 6 million plus the original 1 million. So they have now over 7 million square meters piece of land, and they have already established some companies.
Those people never throw money unless it's
China
promising.
Glass. China Glass, which is the largest glass manufacturer in the world, is going to build a factory. There are lots of other industries that are coming, motorcycles, home appliances, and so on. The Saudi Arabians also have gotten over 6 million square meters piece of land, and they will invite their factories to come. We have a prospect for a huge petrochemical plant. We have already given a license for an oil refinery. This brings naphtha. A petrochemical plant with a naphtha cracker is coming to come. This is like a $6-7 billion worth of investment. And it will also be like, a very rich source for lots of other industries to start flourishing. Chairs, fabric, and so on. Petrochemical industry creates an ecosystem around it. So,
right.
But I'm just talking about Sokhna. I never, if I start talking about Eastern Port Said, we're probably going to talk until sunrise, because Eastern Port Said will be the rising star in the Mediterranean, It's an integrated zone. We have the port, we have the logistics zone, we have the industrial zone, and we even have like 2 zones for housing. So this kind of integration, one thing that we used to suffer from in Egypt when we were creating those free zones is that they were not integrated with the port or the airport.
Yeah.
So there were lots of bureaucracies when you're doing customs, because you have to prove that
the link is not
this
there.
container, this box is being moved to a free zone. It's not going, So this kind of integration, this time I have the feeling that we're getting it right. So we can actually launch what we want and we can run faster than what we used to do.
Right. I can sense from what you're saying, Dr. Darwish, that you're always looking for different solutions, for out-of-the-box ideas. How can we work accordingly with this sense of vision? And in a matter of fact, make a sense of network out of those 4 different zones, even expanding. I like the idea of the Eastern Port Said and the term you've used, the rising star in the Mediterranean. So we don't want to have only one star. We need more, a whole galaxy.
No. This is important, and it's worth mentioning that I have a board that is giving me good support, a board that is open-minded, that they are open for new ideas, and this is what we're trying to do. You mentioned Eastern Port Said. I'll go back to Eastern Port Said. Yes, I want Eastern Port Said to be a showcase. So I'm looking actually for what you call a smart infrastructure in Eastern Port Said. We are soon going actually to issue a request for proposals for different companies and consulting firms around the world to design the smart infrastructure of Eastern Port Said. Picture the following. This development is not going to happen over 2 to 3 years, not 5 years. So someone, she or he, is going to decide to locate their business in Eastern Port Said in 2030 or in 2035. I would like them, when they take that decision, they find an infrastructure that is a 2030 infrastructure, not a 2015 infrastructure. So I'm looking futuristically. I'm looking for these kind of control centers, like, the science fiction movies, where you can control, I need more electricity here. I need more internet. We have an emergency. Shut down the electricity, do the following for the water, track the cameras. This is what we have to do, because we have to figure out where the future is taking us and race with that future so that we are ahead of the of the pack, as they
Definitely.
say.
And raise also our expectations. The expectations concerning the capacity of investments. Always we're working in management with short-term goals and long-term goals. So your expectations.
Okay. In the short term, we will work, in the current phase, let's say the first 7 months that I have spent in office, I was working on putting the zone on the map, getting the people to know that there is a newborn over here, and this newborn is actually going to be, the promising on the market. And I'm trying to sort of draw the picture that we are going to be players among the big players. I'm not here to compete with the small ones. I'm here to play in the big league. So I put this world map and I say you have this triangle in China, Shanghai, Shenzhen, and Hong Kong. You have Singapore. In the Middle East, you have Dubai and Jebel Ali. In Europe, you have Rotterdam and Hamburg. In Americas, you have Panama. This is the league. Be prepared that there is a new player in that league. I'm not going to compete with the smaller ones, the 200 to 300 ones I'm talking about. So we were starting actually to say who we are. In the next phase, I'm coming slowly to your question. I will start actually, we're currently doing a study on where is the competitive edge of the zone. Do we have a competitive edge for automotive industry? Okay. For pharmaceutical, for electronics, for sports and garments, and so on. And then we are going, I'm not going to start doing, those generic marketing things. I'll start going and talking to those I'm targeting. I will go on, if I have something in automotive, I'll go and talk to Toyota, Hyundai, and Ford, and the like, and say, okay, I'm not going to talk to Renault and Peugeot. They already located in Tangier in Morocco. So we have also to figure out who is our customer.
Right.
And then tell them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here is why we are the best location to locate your next plant.
Yeah.
And this is what we're going to offer you, because this way I'm going to create this ecosystem I'm talking about. I have a car manufacturer, I have all the feeding industry. Those are going to do
all the
brake pads, glass, you know, batteries, and so there are lots of feeding industry that works with the. So for every one of these 4 zones, we have different ideas. So we cannot talk about, because you talked about investment.
Definitely.
So I cannot tell you that West Kantara is the same as you know. In Eastern Port Said, investment will be measured about how we are successful in terms of attracting the automotive industry, in terms of attracting the engineering industry, in terms of attracting electronics, pharmaceutical, and what I've mentioned. We have also one more target in Eastern Port Said, which is green industry. We intend to have like 2 to 4 million square meters of land where the power is coming from a renewable source, say either wind or solar, and we have a friendly ecosystem, and we give a green certificate for products coming out of that zone. Those products with the green certificate have their own markets, and they have their own customers, and so on. So this is a kind of industry. To put things in perspective, I'm sure you are eager to hear numbers.
Definitely.
So,
yeah. Because they clarify the way, they lead the road. Yeah.
So let me give you a sense of numbers. The petrochemical plant I'm talking about, that I'm trying to attract in the Sokhna, in the southern zone, is somewhere between $6 to $7 billion. Okay? The garment and sports industry I'm trying to attract in Eastern Port Said is $60 to $70 million. So the difference is 1 to 100. Why I'm mentioning that? Because people would go and, you know, people normally go for numbers, but I tend to think of ourselves, me and the board, that we have some sort of developmental role to play. Yes, someone would look and say, oh wow, you know, our account manager who's working on Sokhna is very clever.